Welcome to the EdgeStream, the edgiest live show I know. The following show is a satire, and all characters appearing are fictitious in nature. Any resemblance to real persons living or dead are purely coincidental. Narcs are not welcome. Viewer suicide is advised. You edgy. You're now tuned in to the edgiest guy I know.
How's it going, bigots? Welcome back. It's Edgy D back with another EdgeStream. We're back here tonight, on Tuesday, February the 8th, 2022. It is so good to be back here with all of you. I'm here with my co-host tonight, my resident expert, Dr. Fact Check. How's it going?
Dr. Fact Check in the house. Glad to be here with you, Edgy. We got an exciting show tonight. So much news in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, for sure. Yes. I've been so busy that I haven't been able to do a show where I've been going to Ottawa and back and just processing all the footage I've had, trying to keep up my own other job that I have to make money in order to, keep the lights on and everything. So things have been really hectic, but it's so good to be back, and there's so many things going on. Like, it seems like freedom is popping off here in Canada. I wouldn't have thought that I would have seen it this soon, this quickly, within the last few weeks, just popping off like this. Canada is the new home of freedom in the world. We are like the fire starters, and it feels so good to not be a laughingstock for once in our lives. So
yeah,
true.
I totally agree, man. Like this whole last 2 weeks has flown by so fast, but it's also seemed like months of effort and things that have happened. Like so much has happened in such a short, condensed time that it's almost like you can't even comprehend all of the things that are going on. Like especially in the last couple of days, like they've really ramped up with their enforcement, and then you have premiers, backing down from all of the bullshit and all the mandates. And I don't know. It seems like we're winning right now. I'll be honest. It feels pretty damn good.
Right. Well, I'm pretty sure there's a state of emergency in Ottawa. All the bouncy castles and everything, and people trying to give truckers fuel. Oh, but that's mischief. That's a possible aiding and abetting a terrorist insurrectionist plot.
Thou shalt not honk your horn.
Yeah, thou shalt not honk your horn. Well, as we all know, the honking will continue until freedom is even fucking existent in this fucking country.
Yep.
Like, it's so funny watching all the news commentators and all their supposed experts just trying to say, what freedoms are you losing? Like, what about the freedom of the people? Okay, what about the freedom of the people who are losing their jobs, losing their livelihoods because they won't take a forced medical injection? What about all the debate that is not being had about all these mandates being pushed through? What about the fact that I can't go into a restaurant, sit down and eat food without being kicked the fuck out? I can't go to a gym. I literally had to make my own gym in my tiny fucking apartment by asking relatives to give me equipment.
Yeah, and then you got Pulowski, who has his freedom of speech violated, where he's got a court order to read off a script from the fucking government. Every time he talks about the vaccines, he's legally required and compelled to say things that he doesn't want to say. So this has literally touched every aspect of freedom. These normie types like to say, what freedoms have you lost? Well, last time I checked, I can't fucking get on a plane and get out of this goddamn country. So that's pretty...
I can't even fucking leave this fucking shithole. Yeah. So what the fuck are you talking about, you fucking asshole? I have no fucking concept of what it means to live in a free country because you don't value freedom. You just... What do these people value? Just conformity and, sticking it to people they don't like? Like, fuck you.
Yeah, well, so many people are having like full on Stockholm syndrome right now, since the COVID shit started. And they just believe that the government is like the greatest thing ever, that they have the best intentions and, their best intentions at heart. And they're just trying to keep people safe when we can all clearly see that that's horse shit. You have countries around the world that haven't been living the way we have for over a year. And, people are fine. People are still living their lives. People are going on with
The
their daily
protests are
business.
being
And it's not like the entire society just died. Florida isn't dead. Texas isn't dead.
The
All these
I
countries are
love.
opening
There's
up.
just obvious examples of places where things are going on as business as usual, but the normie likes to not even the normie, because the normie doesn't want any of this. It's that small minority within. It's that fringe minority within the norm minority, the norm minority, the norm majority, the normie majority, right? It's that small fringe within the normie majority that likes to suck on fucking the boots, the toes within the boots of the system, of the establishment. And they like to revel in the fact that they could go to a restaurant. They don't know. I don't know what's going on. I just ate at a restaurant because I showed my Vax Pass.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even think for a second that there's people being hurt with injuries from this fucking horrible injection. And, it's not happening to everyone yet. No, the signal is not totally clear, so they don't get the signal necessarily. But they think that because these malcontents, like us, like people who liked Trump, that everything we say is just dog shit. So this
what it
just
really shows,
pounds upon it for them. This trucker convoy is just like an
yeah.
extension of that in their fucking diseased normie brain. It's fucked.
Well, and it shows the how the normies that are really hardcore about all this vaccine stuff and the mandates and all that, it shows how they are actually like little secret tyrants of, and they like to pretend, in previous times, like they cared about freedom and they care about rights and they don't believe in authoritarianism, but they're tyrants. They love this. They get off on the fact that people are losing their jobs. They're sick. It makes them happy that people are losing their jobs. Oh, well, you should have got vaccinated. Actions have consequences, they say.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Except as soon as it's put in their league of, maybe somebody disagrees with their he, him, they, them, they 72 genders bullshit, now all freedom of speech is canceled at that point. So we're not playing on even grounds. We're just playing with some people who are just completely mind fucked, but also empowered by a devilish system, an establishment that likes to just devastate people economically, devastate the working man, but they will give you your cookies, your freebies, whatever you want, if you give in to the establishment narrative, which is just the erasure and the erosion of what we have built here throughout the last century or two or three or four.
Yeah, well, you just hit on another really good point, and that's what this trucker convoy has exposed is the establishment and the elites' disdain and hatred for working class blue collar people. Like, this entire movement is the blue collar people who are standing up. They're finally the ones who have the balls. It wasn't the nurses, it wasn't the doctors, it's not the teachers, it's not the government workers. They all went along and did what they had to do. But the people
Right.
who have balls and will say, no, fuck you. I'm a free person. I don't need to inject myself with this fucking vaccine. They're the ones who are standing up in the streets, and it pisses the hell out of the Ottawa elites, the
Right.
people living in these city bubbles, because they're like, oh, truck drivers. They're the people that annoy me when I'm on the 401. Like they hate blue collar people.
They do.
So when they see a big, truck parked downtown,
A honk
honking,
honk. They see
they
a
just
honk
get
honk.
so
Yeah.
triggered.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Well, how many truckers are government workers? That's for one. And that's not to denigrate the government workers, like the policemen, the firefighters, and the healthcare workers who did stand up, and they did stand there early
Yeah,
on.
for
And
sure.
then the mainstream media and establishment smeared their very heartfelt protests as, oh, they're obstructing the hospitals, and they're stopping people from getting into hospitals. Oh no. Total fucking bullshit. But these people, they try to stick up. There wasn't as many of them because healthcare workers and city workers like policemen and firemen, they're getting the payoffs. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they're the ones who are getting not only just extreme pressure from the higher ups, but they're also getting payoffs. So I don't think your salvation is going to come from these people. But now these truckers who are independent of this devilish system, they work not for the government, but for private companies who actually keep society working. They keep the food coming in, they keep our products coming in. They are just as well as these policemen and healthcare workers. They are the fabric of our society, yet they are in the private sector. So they have a bit more leeway. And also, have you ever met a trucker? They're a different breed. They're a different breed than some of these healthcare workers or some of these policemen who are just following orders, man. They're on the road all day. They're listening to their redneck radio stations, and there's some nuggets of gold that can be obtained through the information they're getting there through Zello, their radio stations. Like, what is Zello exactly? Do you understand what Zello is?
I'm honestly not too sure.
I hear that the mainstream media is ripping apart Zello. I think Zello is like a private communication, like radio wave or a radio station that they all have their chats through. And it sounds especially based. Like, it sounds super cool that they
Oh
have
man,
this for themselves. Yeah.
there's nothing cooler than like the idea of driving down the highway just like on a CB radio talking shit with other truckers. You know what I mean? Like, one guy's 10 miles back. He's like, oh, look out. We got some crazy Asian driver in a Honda Civic coming up, boys. And then,
Yeah.
by the time they get up to that person, they're like, all right, yep, spotted him.
Yeah, it's been
I'm
20
sure,
kilometers and they still got their left signal on. Oh shit, boys! It's
I'm
just
sure they're
another
getting
day on
some
the
real fun.
road.
Yeah, I'm
Honk
sure it's
honk.
fun.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. It seems like we have some people in the chat. It's good to see Canadianism. Oh, we love Canadianism. Great fan of the show. Fucking love the dude. We love Doug.
Fuck
Freedom
yeah.
Convoy, rise up for me. We love you, Doug. Darren Gander, good to see you, buddy. Here to help spread the light. Kyle, good to see you, buddy. Point Fire, Ligma Aggers, Misfit, good to see you, buddy. And Tyler Russell, yo, what's going on, man?
Yo.
Fuck yeah. We got some people in the chat. Ligma Varian is saying, Russell, I saw this domestic freedom weaponizer crash. Autowalks. Oh, okay. So I think what he's saying there is that Tyler Russell went and stream sniped Autowalks. Autowalks was doing a live stream, and Tyler
Nice.
came on, and like Tyler went in and was just like, "The Groypers are here, the Groypers." They're like, "What the heck is a Groyper?" Oh. They were very thrown off, and it was very funny. So shout outs for Tyler Russell for stream sniping Autowalks. Good to see you, Greg Arcade, in the motherfucking chat. Let's go. And also, I'm going to make Tyler Russell a mod here. Add moderator. Let's fucking go.
Man, Tyler Russell has been killing it up in Ottawa. He's been there since day one, and he even stream sniped CBC. And I was watching actually live at the time, and I'm watching the TV, and all of a sudden Tyler pops up on screen. Canada first, let's go! And I was like, oh
it's
my
fucking awesome,
God.
man. Also, Rebel News is stealing all of Tyler Russell's footage. It's fucking bullshit. That fucking Ezra Levant is gonna go fucking down. He has a lot to answer for with his malicious ways. Okay, he's trying to push other people who are doing great work out of the scene because they're not kosher enough for him. It's like, dude, we don't fucking care. We just want freedom. You better stop it with this bullshit. because we're coming for your ass if you keep on
Well,
slandering Tyler Russell, slandering Canada First as if you don't know who the fuck we are. Yeah,
it's also incredibly like outrageous that he would one day put out a tweet, denouncing Canada First and
right.
denouncing Tyler and trying to like, call them white nationalists or whatever. And then
Yeah,
the next day, his organization is using Tyler's footage where you can hear his fucking voice behind the camera. Like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah. It's a 3-letter word, Edgy. I don't know what Tyler is trying to tell me there in the chat, but if you can figure that out and let me know, then do that. But yeah. Oh, okay. I think I know what he's saying. But anyways, fucking Canada First has been doing a lot of great things. They've been smeared throughout this whole time we've been there. We've been there. We got there on Friday, and we were involved in like everything from there on in. Tyler has been there since Friday the 28th, and he has not left. And neither has Shane Marshall. And we just have more and more people coming in and out and in and out. It's like a revolving door of patriots. So they could say what they want, and they could take Plaid Armies, they could take Canada First content, but we will always be there, and people will know that.
Yep, for sure, man. And you can see the support too. Like Canada First and the Plaid Army guys have gotten an overwhelming amount of support in Ottawa. People are just stoked to see you guys in the street. So shouts out to all you guys.
Right. As far as people wanting to come see Tyler, I was like kind of not baffled because I knew people like Tyler and people know who he is, but there was a lot of people who were like came up to me and they saw the Canada First hat and they're like, "Yo, where's Tyler? We want to meet the King of Canada." Like they were fucking stoked to go and meet him. And I'm not just trying to blow smoke up Tyler's ass here, but no, this is kind of a movement where young people can gravitate towards, at the very least. There's a hat that says, "Hey, come here, come hang out with all of us. We'll roll deep as a motherfucking posse, like dozens of us deep, and we'll go do an op together. We'll go and we'll show some strength against our enemies. We'll go try and do what's right together." Because if there was just a couple of us, the media would be able to push us down, and they'd be able to make fun of us in certain ways and, trash us. But when we're rolling deep and you see the symbol, it's like the Batman symbol in the sky. Or, I don't know, I'm not fucking good. Is it the Batman symbol? Yeah, yeah. Well, anyways, you know that there's an op going on and that you need to stand up, especially now more than ever in Ottawa. As things are progressing, the police are stealing people's fuels. They're trying to criminalize any helping of the truckers. Like, this is our chance to shut the mandates down once and for all. And we cannot let up in any sense. We've got to go get arrested if we have to.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean violence. It just means being there, really. Just not moving.
Yeah, peaceful resistance.
Get fucking arrested. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, no, what's going on right now is like it's hard to describe because we're living in it. But I think this is something we're gonna look back on in 5-10 years and be like, holy shit, I'm so glad I was a part of that. Because from 2 years ago on until now, like there's been just black pill after black pill. There's been no hope. And finally, this is like the most white pilling thing ever. There's hope again. There's like people standing up in the streets in cold ass fucking February weather in Ottawa, of all places, where it's pretty chilly. And they're out there, day in, day out, speaking their minds and voicing their opinion and trying to, be heard by these politicians. And we are being heard because you can see like they had an emergency debate last night in Parliament all about this. The premiers of several provinces are completely backtracking on shit. Like this is really getting global attention. Like the entire world is watching us, and I think a
Right.
lot of people are looking to us now to lead by example and see if we can actually take this all the way to the end goal, you know, or to
Right.
the field goal.
There's never been a time where it's just like, yo, the world is looking at you.
Yeah.
To Canada, to Canada. It's fucking absurd in my head, almost like, because who would have thought Canada, the laughing stock, we weren't necessarily Australia, where it's just like, dude, what the fuck is going on over there? That's scary. That's literally fucking scary. But Canada has been something along the lines where, it's pretty bad here. We're pretty cucked. We don't have that much recourse. But then it hit a boiling point, and I guess they boiled the frog too hot, and the frog jumped out of the pot.
Yep.
And now the truckers are doing a siege and insurrection. Oh my god, in Ottawa, and people are following suits. People are following suit in like Coots, Alberta, where now they're having similar demonstrations at their borders, and they're like blockading the police blockades. So it's like peaceful warfare in a sense, where they're stepping things up on shutting down infrastructure. You could say whatever you want about that, but hey, these are the people who run the country, who make things get to where they need to be, and now they're standing up and saying it's enough. Enough is enough. Okay, so you could say what you want about them. You could say what you want about people disrupting infrastructure. These are the people who make the infrastructure run, and they're not happy. They're striking, and they're
Yeah.
striking in a way that is undeniable to the system. So,
That's a really good point. I never thought about it from that perspective. It is a strike. And like, the teachers strike every fucking time a contract has to get renewed, and people have to like worry about whether their kids are going to be able to go to school or not because the teachers are striking.
teachers are
But
fags, so teachers can go suck a fucking dick.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you on that. But no one calls the teachers insurrectionists for
I do.
striking
Every year. I call them fags, insurrectionists, and like I say,
propagandists.
yeah, I stand outside there with like a sign that says "Homeschool your kids," and they beat me up. They throw tomatoes at me. They call me scab. Well, fuck you, you fucking Karens. Suck my dick.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, so I have two videos I have here that I have one picture that I just want to show up. This is from Zammer Live. I'll show that one first.
Real quick shout out to the Bard, the legend.
Oh, is the Bard in chat?
The Bard's with Tyler Russell.
Oh, of course he is. Fuck yeah, I love that motherfucking dude. The Bard of Lanark County. The Hillier youth. We'll get into that shortly. Don't you worry. Okay, sorry. I'm just looking for what the fuck. Okay, there we go. I got we got it. So, this is a post from Zammer Live. I think Anthony Zambino is a PPC candidate. Actually went to my high school. A year younger than me. I didn't know him at the time. I think I knew one of his relatives my age, but either way, I don't know much about the dude, but he made this post that I thought was interesting. It says, since January the 28th, the following has been reported. Quebec drops their unvaccinated tax. True. Saskatchewan has announced a lifting of restrictions. I think they said by February 14th or 15th, they're going to drop the Vax Passport. And that's the biggest fucking thing, man. The Vax Passport, that is the key to the New World Order that they're trying to push through. So to at least see Scott Moe rescinding that, that's fucking amazing. We might be able to get into that article later that they released where he says, oh, we're doing this because the information says that Omicron is not as bad, so the science says blah blah blah. Well, the science never said that you had to have a vax passport, so that's bullshit, first of all. And it seems like he's giving some leeway to say that, oh, if things do get worse in the future, we could rescind it at any time. We could reinstitute the restrictions. So for me already, I'm thinking that's not good enough.
Yeah.
You are never allowed to do this again.
Yeah, we need laws against what they've
We need
done.
laws against this, and we need, you know, it feels like things have gotten so deep that if we were to just subject you all to capital punishment for all that you've done, you sick globalists, that there would be too many hangings. It would be it would be too No, I'm kind of against that. I'm saying we give you another chance.
Right.
But you get what I'm saying? You can't do this. We're going to stop you from being able to go back and subject yourself to being hung legally in the future. Okay?
Right. Yep.
I'm being very compassionate over here right now. I'm being very non-fascist. I'm being very democratic with the way that I'm speaking right now. Okay? Everybody's voting for what I'm saying right now. So chill the fuck out. Calling me a neo-fascist. Suck my fucking dick. All right. What else do we have here from our boy Zimmer Live? It says Alberta to announce their plan to lift COVID-19 restrictions this week. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but I'm hoping Jason Kenney doesn't have another fucking thumb up his ass.
So I don't know if you've heard, but that actually happened just this night, tonight here, just a couple of hours ago. And what it is at midnight tonight, the restriction exemption program will be gone. So that's the vaccine passport. And I think it's soon the masks will be lifted. I think it's Monday. I was reading the article just like 10 minutes before we hopped on here. Yeah, masks no longer required at schools starting Monday. So he's going no masks, getting rid of the vaccine passport. And I can't wait to go and listen to the journos reeing at him later. Well, you can't do this. Oh my goodness, what are you doing?
Well, he already did this in last summer. You said everything's gonna be cool for the summer here. Everything's gonna get lifted, and then he got hammered by the fall because they were pulling hospital fraud on him.
Yeah,
they were fucking with the statistics, and the globalist elites, they know how to fudge numbers for their alchemic purposes to fuck with statistics when it comes to cases and who's going to hospital for what, and fucking with the amount of ICU beds that are available, something that's always been a problem, where they retract the amount of beds that are available based on how they want to distribute their funding.
Well, and another thing with that too is they only started talking about people being hospitalized with COVID versus hospitalized and then got COVID or like tested positive, but like they were hospitalized for something unrelated. They only started talking about that in December, January. So like all of that
after
right,
all that crap, yeah.
Right.
So it seems like you can't address what's actually happening unless you go to the heart of the swamp and you look at what the manipulations are deep down. But as you said, in December or so, they started to make these distinguish between being hospitalized with or because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
So now they're backtracking and they're saying things that only conspiracy theorists would say that you need to take into account before, right?
Certainly.
So now, because the normie's brain is so fucked up from the constant belligerent attack of information that they're getting from the mainstream media, they can't tell the difference between who said it first, who is the most credible when it comes to how this information is displayed to everybody. They don't even know. They can't tell their right foot from their left foot. They can't tell their penis from their fucking vagina. They're fucked in the head. And we need to have some compassion for these normies. There is that subset that the media has radicalized against us that deserves no compassion now.
Yeah, for sure. I've read a thing recently. It's like a lot of like 50 plus women that are like super
Oh,
on board with the
there.
lockdown, super on
This is
board with
like the
everything.
I see them on Twitter, and you don't think that these people exist, but oh my goodness, it's like that is a Karen.
Yeah, they literally parrot the exact talking points from the CBC and the CTV News and all that kind of shit,
As
like
if
word
they're
for
like the
word.
Hitler of CBC. It's crazy. And then, so it goes on to say Newfoundland lifting some restrictions today. I don't trust anything from Newfoundland. Them goddamn Newfies, they don't know what's going on there, bud. New Brunswick, let's get kids back to class earlier than originally announced. Okay, well, good for you. I'm glad for you. Nova Scotia eases restrictions for sports and arts. Well, no, that's pretty good. If you could go to the gym still, that's what I really want. That's what I'm pissed about. Like, I've had to make my own gym in my fucking apartment because of this shit. Well, anyways, I want to move to a video that you actually sent me that's fucking so funny. But it's just so indicative of what they're doing here.
Yeah.
I think you know which video it is.
The protests are being keenly felt by people
Can you
with
see this?
disabilities. Some individuals say they don't feel
There,
safe
yeah,
going downtown or leaving their homes. Troy Stewart
This is the
one of
most
them. He uses
disgusting
a
propaganda piece I've ever seen.
Yeah, so this is yesterday, I think. Protests in downtown Ottawa causing hardship for some people with disabilities. So they got the most gimps, like, to be like, oh, this is so horrible for me. Oh my goodness. And like they definitely coach them. Like,
Oh yeah.
can I not bring my own retard, my own disabled person and just wheel them in, and then you can be like, freedom, freedom. And then like I could get him to just, what do you call it, shame the mainstream media, like, I'm the handicap, you don't want to talk to me. Well, we've had that already. We have people who are injured from these experimental injections, and the
Yep.
media just ignores them flat out. And then they bring in this fucking whiner to whine about things, and it's like it's just a slap in the face to all decency.
And I think the most disgusting part of this whole piece is there's no way in fucking hell that this guy contacted the CBC and was like, hey, I want to tell my story. No, they went and found this fucking guy. They're like, hey, find a fucking mentally disabled person or physically disabled, whatever. Find somebody with disabilities and bring them on so we can try to like shame the truckers and be like, look what you're doing to the poor disabled people. And then they definitely coached him for sure. Because some of the lines that he says, like, he didn't even know what a Confederate flag was. He called it a Federate flag. And I don't think that was just like his disability. I think like he genuinely doesn't know what a Confederate flag is. And he was just told, make sure you talk about the Nazi and Confederate flags, you know, because like that's 100% what they would do. In like the pre-interview with this guy, they would kind of coach him along and give him some talking points and stuff like that. And it's just so sick. Like, I actually feel bad for this guy because it's like, he looks like a fool on national TV, and they brought him on just to be a propaganda piece.
I feel like this guy is smart enough, at least, to know that he's being no, well, because the normie doesn't know they're being a piece of shit, and I don't feel bad for him though. I just want to make fun of his I like you. This is the same thing where, remember when that guy, that reporter, tried to question Trump about some shit, and then Trump was like, "Oh, I don't know what I said." Make fun of this fucking guy, and then like the media was like, Trump thinks he's cool making fun of disabled reporters, and then they like revealed the guy, and it's just like, he made fun of me. And it's like, dude, no one cares about your fucking gimped hand. It's the content of what you said, and now they're using you to prop up the, like, you're a disabled reporter, blah, blah, blah. And they're using that to prop you up so that they could say that Trump is discriminating against the disabled, against,
Well,
you know,
that's also, it's very telling
bullshit.
the people that watch that and laughed like me are the people that think bullying is based. And then the people that watch that and like got all offended, they are the ones who think that
That's
bullying
true.
is like terrible. And like frankly, bullying is great, like for the most part. Like there's, you know, the stereotypes in the movies where like some kid's literally minding his own business and someone comes and throws him into a locker and just assaults him. That's not what happens. Normally bullying is like some guy's a little slimy piece of shit and you just fuck with them over and over again, and it's so funny.
It's like I think there's two types of bullying. There's maybe three, where one of them is really malicious and mean,
Yeah.
and then there's like one where it's like in between, and it's like, okay, well, this guy's fucked, but maybe we could do something to help him instead of doing this, though it's still pretty funny, and it, it could go either way. And then there's like the one that's probably more common than people give credit to, where it's like what you're saying, where this guy is fucking out of line, and people need to bully this fucking guy
Yeah. Oh, for
in order
sure.
to get them in line, because they're doing some things that are very beta, very sinister and slimy. They're gonna end up to be a future beta, like sneaky rapist or something,
Yeah.
or a school shooter. And so you need to maybe get people in line to putting some solid social pressure on this person to conform to something that's not fucking so malcontent.
Well, and like any guy that's been a friend, like in a friend group with a bunch of other guys, like there's a little bit of bullying going on all the time, but it's like we don't get all offended by it. We don't get all butt hurt and cry about it. It's like, you know, like me and my buddies in high school would constantly fuck with each other, and you know, like we make different people the butts of the joke all the different, you know, all the time. But it was like we were constantly fucking with each other and, you know, kind of messing with each other a little bit. And it was never like malicious, but it was technically
It's
bullying.
like a
Like,
shit test for men.
yeah,
Are
yeah,
you able to hang out with the boys and be a person who
yeah,
can hold their own?
yeah. If
Or are
somebody
you a
says an insult
fucking
to you,
wuss?
yeah,
And
if somebody,
that's why I love the Randy Hillier camp of politics.
oh yeah,
Where it's like, boys, are we gonna fucking not be wusses, and are we gonna stand up for Canada? Or are we gonna, like, people are gonna talk shit about us. People are gonna slander us. We're gonna stand tall, we're gonna stand firm, because we don't give a fuck what these idiots say about us. We know it's best for us.
it
Because we've
really
been
is a
shit
man
tested.
test.
We've been
Yeah.
shit tested. We've been man tested. And we're not all 100% there, but it's a work in progress. And
Well, it's like if somebody says something to you that's kind of like, you know, a little bit of a bullying type remark, but it's, you know, in like a humorous tone, if you don't respond with something equally as like, you know, like kind of punch back, if you don't punch back with something, you're a fucking pussy, and like they're not gonna respect you, and they're gonna know that. Like that's like a
right.
litmus test. It's like, oh, this guy's a fucking pussy, I can just walk all over him. I just talked shit to his face and he didn't say anything back. You know what I mean?
Right. And it keeps you on your toes. So maybe the
Oh
first
yeah.
time you get fucking bullied and you didn't know what to say, that's all right. There's always a second chance. There's always a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chance. You come back better the next time, and then
Yeah.
maybe you'll show people up instead of being a little bitch, though, and snitching to the teacher, and in this case snitching to the government because someone hates
Yeah.
speech to you. Like, and literally when it comes to these fucking pathetic mainstream media journalists, basically what they do, their MO is that they say something horribly anti-white, something horribly like ridiculous that just flies in the face of reality, like calling you a fascist for wanting your freedoms back. And then maybe they're brown, maybe they're gay, maybe they're something, and then someone calls them a faggot, or someone calls them like, oh, you don't know what it's like to be Canadian, and then they parade that out to everyone as if, oh no, I was hate speech, this is why we need more restrictions against speech in order to protect me, a vulnerable individual, against this kind of rhetoric. Oh my god. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You are the threat to democracy. Your grift is unconscionable.
Yeah, for sure.
You are a detestable human being for even trying to pull that shit.
It's almost a form of gaslighting where it's like they say something really horrible about you and insinuate something really horrible about
Yeah,
you.
you
And
have white
then,
privilege. Your
yeah,
say doesn't mean anything because you're white. Oh, how dare you? Just a poor black woman. I'm just trying to do journalism and I'm just being suppressed. Oh, they're curb stopping me. They're curb stopping me with their words. Put my mouth on the proverbial curb. Okay. Shut the fuck up.
yep, I'm with you.
All right, I'm gonna play a bit of this fucking malcontents video. I'm gonna go grab another beer, and hopefully I'll I'll have returned by the time he starts talking about how someone pushed his wheelchair into
Yeah,
traffic,
that's the best
which is
part.
the fucking funniest part.
I was
Holy shit.
crying laughing,
Yeah,
dude.
it's so funny. I don't know. You mean fascists were pushing me into traffic.
Sharon teaches online
Dude,
cooking
you
classes
couldn't
for
write
people who are
this. Okay, I gotta put this back down to normal speed.
differently abled, and he joins us now. Troy, thank you for your patience in waiting to do this interview. What has it been
Thank
like
you,
for
Troy.
you living downtown for the past week and a half?
The words I'd like to use and the words I use are a little bit less strong, but as far as we're concerned as disabled people, this is an invasion of our home because we can't leave our homes. Their noise, their fireworks, the train horns that are illegal, constantly going by. While I was on hold, they blocked the intersection just over here, not far from me, and nobody could get on the highway. No one could get the whole street is like blocked up, and the police have to come and like get the truck to move away. I have people that I teach through my online class that are afraid to leave their home. They have service dogs, and because they can't leave their home, their service dogs are going to the bathroom on their patio, or they have to say a friend to take their pet out. And this is not right. And my biggest fear is the repercussions from all this. Once this is all over, once they all leave, how are these people going to recover from this? They're not good. They don't feel safe in their own community. A lot of people with disabilities, we have to have routines. I have ataxia, so that's why I speak funny. I don't walk because I can't. And this makes it so much more difficult. Like, I can go to the corner store and say get some milk, and coming back, I have a woman who has a sign saying "Freedom, not fascism," and she tries to give me a high five. She's not wearing a mask.
Oh no!
I was like, "You don't even know what fascism is." And she's like, "Yeah, I do." I'm like,
Neither do you.
Don't. Like, grow up. And I just kept going. It's. And I'm constantly hearing from friends and students.
Has anyone changed his diaper mid-interview yet? Or at least his catheter? I feel like this
I
guy's
was just thinking.
this guy's just pissing and shitting himself just thinking about what happened to him. Oh my goodness.
So
Somebody
funny.
high-fived them without a mask? Oh my goodness.
It would be so funny to Photoshop over like edit over on the video the Trump hands doing like the up and down thing when he was imitating that one reporter, just like underneath this guy's head, so that the whole time he's talking it's just his hands flailing around.
Baby Blue 32 on Entropy saying, I saw this and knew right away he had ear tubes. And on YouTube, Pure H is saying, dude, your service dog will need a mask and and a triple booster as well, bro. It's true. Yes, his service dog is gonna need to be triple boosted and double masked, because how else is this guy gonna survive in society? He's so triggered right now. This is so hard for people with disabilities. My goodness, how I just feel shame for allowing myself to live in a society where he also has to live, and I'm just burdening him by existing. I don't know.
Speaking
That
of burden,
there
son of Caliban in the chat says, if this guy died, would people miss his personality, or would they be more relieved that he wasn't such a whiny burden to them anymore?
That's the thing. It's just like there is a subset of people with these disabilities who just are insufferable. I'm sorry to say it, but you have a disability and then you're just like, everybody hates me. I want to kill myself and I'll kill you too. And it's like, oh man.
Yeah, well, there's a way of dealing with
I
it
hate
without
that.
without putting the burden on everyone else, as if they're supposed to like take care of you and provide for you and make accessible shit for you. Like, I do a lot of web design professionally, and we have to not use certain colors because a colorblind person wouldn't be able to read it very well. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? I literally can't use the color orange on a website because the color orange, there's no way of making it dark enough to have text over top of it, where like to meet these fucking bullshit standards that the Disability Act of Ontario put in. And it's like, dude, it's ridiculous. Like at a certain point, it's like, fuck these people.
Right. I get what you're saying. Though I also do think that what I was trying more to say is that there's a certain amount of people who are disabled where their attitude is just so bad that it's irredeemable.
Yeah.
And maybe it's something to do with mental illness too. But you gotta have some connection to reality and to want to be with other people in a positive way. And there'll always be people who will probably help you through, hopefully. But anyways, you gotta do the best with what you have, no matter what it is. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Not just give up and blame other people.
Right. And there is obviously more leeway for people with harder situations, but you have to bring light to other people's lives. I think that's probably one of the main things about existing and living is spreading joy to other people in a way, spreading goodness.
Like what we are doing right now.
Yeah, just railing on this fucking retard. This fucking. Let's go.
they're being accosted on the street by these people yelling at them for wearing masks and calling them "you're sheep," and they are breaking things. They are bothering people, and they're being very much in your face, and it's disturbing. And it's hard enough being disabled to go out because a lot of us are very shy to go out because when you're differently abled, whether that be mentally or physically, being differently abled, you are very conscious of it. And then to have these people, up in your face, you don't want to leave your home. You feel like you're being forced to stay home.
And what has that been like for you? Have you been able
I
to
feel
leave
like
your home here and there? You talked about.
I feel like if you're not disabled, no, if you are disabled, people will give you the time of the day and they'll be really nice to you. I feel like yeah. So I think you have more of a leeway if you are disabled. Just to say, I think it's the average guy who's like below average that has to compete with everybody else. I think that's where you're starting to get into people who get no sympathy towards them and get a harder time.
Yeah, like the regular
Do you know what I'm
guy.
saying? Because like my dad is highly disabled, but he has written his own books and got them published because he has Parkinson's disease. If he was just like an average old man loser who just wanted to write a book about whatever, no one would have published him.
For sure. Oh, and you see
But-
that in the schools, like the way that
Right?
the mentally handicapped kids were always paraded around as if they were like heroes when they ran 100 meters, you know, in 20 seconds. Like, and like, I have no problem with like them feeling like they're part of the club and like they're being able to
Right.
compete and do something good. That's fine. But don't pretend that the Paralympics are the Olympics, you know, and like that you have to know, unless you're like fully mentally disabled, you have to understand that like, no, it's different. Like you guys have completely different standards. And, you know, so I don't know.
I love
have
how this is
sympathy.
the trucker convoy stuff, but we just got
We're
him into
shitting on mentally disabled people.
No, this is some really interesting philosophical and psychological phenomenons of what it means to be a human being. So this is actually pretty interesting, but
For sure.
But one time you did where, but what do you feel as though you feel unsafe going outside?
Yes, absolutely. I had this. I was going to where I was going, but this lady just came behind me and started pushing me. And right now, I'm trying to get new wheels for my wheelchair. So I put my brakes on. I couldn't stop her from pushing me, and I had to turn it because she was pushing me towards the intersection. And I was like, I don't know what she's doing. I told her not to touch me. She didn't ask.
don't touch me!
For people who are differently able that use
Don't
a
touch my
wheelchair,
wheelchair!
that's part of our body. I'd be like somebody grabbing
That's
your arm
my
and
body.
pulling you along.
Yo, micro mutants are the wheelchair is part of his body, bro. Don't touch it.
Man, I'm just trying to get new wheels, and then all of a sudden, next thing I know, this lady's pushing me towards traffic.
And then it's part of the Ottawa Freedom Convoy. And they're all just a bunch of Nazis, and they're
They
pushing me
just
into
want to kill
traffic.
disabled people and get them run over in traffic.
Right? Like, what the fuck? Like, what is the point of this? Like, can the person who's interviewing him at least say, yeah, but this was not, like, the Freedom Convoy trying to kill you because you're
No, like,
disabled.
and like, if you think about it, what probably happened was,
what?
like, he was probably in the way, or like, you know, was trying to go somewhere that was blocked off because there were so many people, and she was just like moving his wheelchair, if this even happened. But like,
yeah,
this idea
if
that she
this
was
even
trying,
happened, this
th-
probably
this
did
idea-
not happen.
the idea that she was trying to like push him into traffic to like, you know, some maniacal evil person trying to kill this disabled person in a wheelchair, like, fuck off.
To be honest, after I've seen this interview, I would probably actually push him into traffic. So I'm like going to at least give a +1 for this guy here. Okay, Troy Stewart, you got. I just gave you some points there. Some relevance because I would push you into traffic. Okay.
Man, can you imagine his cooking classes, by the way? Like,
It's just like him covered in molasses on the ground. Like, the Nazis have won once again.
he's like trying
Call
to pour,
CTV News.
he's trying to pour like 1 cup of like milk into a cup, and it's just flying all over the place.
My dad with fucking like 20 years of Parkinson's would do a better job cooking than this fucking spaz. Anyways, let's keep it going.
And that was scary to me because I was like, what are you doing? What's your intent? Why are you pushing me? I tell you, don't touch me, please. Leave me alone. I
Don't
can do it
touch
on
me,
my own.
please.
Oh, no, you're fine. I got you. I'm like, no, you don't. You're pushing me towards the intersection. It's scary.
Yeah,
It makes you go up.
that sounds terrifying. What you know? What about the noise, the honking?
This
What's that
guy
been
is
like
just
for you.
like a makeup
been
factory.
To put it bluntly,
You pause this real quick. I
Like,
just want to
yeah,
make one
the
quick
middle-
point.
This guy has a makeup factory on his face, and he's just trying so hard to not laugh and just be like,
The best part is it's like this is like a counseling session, and like the news anchor's like, tell me how that made you feel. You know?
This is the news, fellas. This is the news.
Oh my god.
Bro, like, you have to take an experimental injection that, you know, might give you myocarditis despite you being a young person and not needing this shit at all. But this is the kind of counter propaganda that they'll have against you for not wanting to go along with it. That's ultimately the end of the day what it's about. You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose access to going to the gym, to a restaurant, to anything. Your family's going to disown you because of what the media is doing. All because the government, the New World Order, wanted to go along with this. And they decided that you are the target because you called bullshit. So much for freedom of conscience. So much for respecting people's opinions. For things that actually don't harm other people. But this is where we're at. And there's nothing to say now but war. War. We're against this fucking retard right here. We're gonna take you down, you motherfucker. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that's just what's going on right now. That's just the state of the world. What else is going on? Coots, Alberta. They've got quite the bit of a standoff going on there. I know there's a standoff going on at Windsor right now. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, no, for sure. And excuse me, I was listening to CBC earlier. Don't ask me why. And the mayor of Windsor was on, and he was just like having a collective hissy fit about the whole thing. Like he was asking for, I think, 100 more police officers to help with, dealing with the situation. And then
Right.
like the CBC was asking him, well, what if they storm the tunnel? Because I guess there's a tunnel that
There's
goes
a tunnel?
underneath the river.
Yo.
So he's like, well, so far the tunnel hasn't been compromised, but it's like the way that they're talking, it's like they're talking like it's a war. Like,
Can
they
we
literally
please
are.
compromise the tunnel?
Yeah. We
I
need
would love to.
reinforcements.
I don't know
We
what
need
this
more.
is, but this tunnel sounds like it needs to be compromised. Let's
Yeah.
fucking go. Yeah.
It's like a tunnel underneath the I think it's the St. Clair River. I forget what the river is down there.
Is it like a
but
border tunnel?
it like literally goes underneath the river that divides Windsor from Detroit, and
Ki-
people can go under it
Oh,
and then drive
that's
through to Detroit and
sick.
vice versa.
Can we like compromise it and get some sick footage of just
Yeah,
like
could you imagine if like a few trucks got stuck in there? Like that'd be so sketchy. They're literally underwater.
Yo. The globalists would probably flood them out. No, they wouldn't do that. But anyways, can you see this for Coots? Yeah, okay. So it says
Yeah.
charges will be laid in Alberta border blockade. RCMP deputy commissioner says. So I have a few things highlighted. I'm trying to get the gist of what the latest thing coming from Coots, Alberta is. So Marco Van Hugenbos, sick fucking name. I think he's a town councilor of Fort Macleod and also one of the top protest organizers for this. He told CBC News that the Monday night lane closures, so last night, was a show of force. And this was the Monday night lane closures. I don't know if the lane closure was because of them or from the police, but it says that it occurred after a supply of essentials such as food and fuel was disrupted. And he says, we've been working with the RCMP quite extensively. In the last few days, we've been getting some very negative pushback on just a few positive flow of resources. So it sounds like the police are trying to block them from getting resources to all the people who are protesting, trying to block the Coots border from Alberta to Montana. So after the lanes were reopened, the RCMP had agreed to let supporters bring food and gas to the protesters. But these stipulations included that those with supplies must use secondary roads to get close to the blockade and then meet Mounties at a checkpoint and then leave their vehicles and walk to reach the protest. So they're throwing up some stipulations in order to get people to take extra steps to get the resources to the protesters who are there within the blockade of the Coots protest. Now, I heard earlier that when it came to this specific blockade, that the police were blockading the truckers' blockade, and then the truckers went around and blockaded, or other protesters went around and blockaded their blockade. So, this is the kind of disruption that I think that we need. We need to keep disrupting and taking their moves and then pulling the same moves on them and just saying, hey, we're not going to stop until all the mandates are gone.
And what was so based about this Coots Alberta situation too was last week, I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday, they sent in the RCMP, and the RCMP were like went in and talked to the people that were blockading the border, and they were like, this is ending today. Like, we have orders that like this is going to be done today. And like all the politicians and CBC and all these people thought, okay, it's over. Like the RCMP is going in, they're going to take them out. And like you saw the clips of the RCMP walking towards the trucks and like a big, show of force with like 30 guys. And here we are a week later and nothing's fucking changed, which just shows you
Yeah,
they are
suck
bluffing.
a fucking dick.
They are just bluffing though, man. They don't have fucking the power to deal with this shit. They don't have the tow trucks to deal with this. They don't have the amount of police they need to deal with this. And like you're seeing the same thing in Ottawa too, where like they requested 1,800 police officers as like reinforcements because they're so overwhelmed that they can't go out and like target the main protest. They can only go and show up and like do little raids at like stuff that's in the distance, 25 kilometers away from the downtown or whatever. There's no way that they can deal with this problem because it's just too big. And logistically, how are they going to get all these massive fucking vehicles out of there?
It's almost like you gotta bait them into going after side protests and then come at them and then make a show of it. Right?
Well, I think like with the raid that happened in Ottawa the other night, it was really unfortunate that it happened at like dark, and that was probably by design. But if like there would have been able to 200, 300, 400 people like all of a sudden get there super fast, if like that many people could have got there, I think they would have backed down, because in every situation they know that they are dancing on the line between pushing the crowd too far, so they're very afraid of crowds.
Yeah, right. So, say they try to fuck with some people, and then, they try to make some arrests, but then it takes some time to do that. So then people close in all the roads around them.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing you got to be thinking about, and I'm sure I'm not the first one to think of this. I'm so brilliant, I just thought of it right now. And so I really hope the organizers are thinking about this kind of, warfare, where it's very based on the resources you had and also non-violent. We're not talking about violence here in any sense of the aspect. We're talking about blocking off the so-called authorities from doing things that are just unconscionable.
Yeah, like you want to come and arrest a bunch of our guys? Okay, good luck getting them out. We just blocked the entire road. And that's kind of what you're seeing here in Coots, where like they did the counter blockade. It's like the police tried to blockade and they pulled a 4D chess move. They're like, oh, you want to blockade us? We're going to blockade you. And the blockade on the other side of the RCMP is actually bigger than the initial blockade by like 3 or 4 times. So it's like they're totally fucked. Like they can't even leave the spot that those cars are.
The thing is that this can basically never end until we get what we want, and it's got to grow bigger. Yeah. We got to make this thing grow bigger. Like, say you get some mandates rescinded. It's not going to stop until all Canadian mandates are rescinded across the board.
Yeah.
And then we have freedom, and then we have a promise that this will never happen again.
Yeah, well, like, I was
And
listening to this guy, Curtis
it's
Stone,
sorry,
and
go ahead.
basically what he said is,
The urban
the
farmer?
yeah, he's a super base guy. And his point was the truckers need to realize here, this is a battle, this isn't the war. So, like, even if we win, which, like, I'm hoping we do, and I'm standing by the guys, and I'm gonna keep doing what I can to support them. But even if we win, we can't be like, oh yeah, great, it's all over, because there's a lot more going on. And he kind of made the point that what the elites do is they'll go 2 steps forward and 1 step back, 2 steps
It's so
forward, one
true,
step back.
yes.
So we have to be wary of, like, if this is their step back and they, like, stop the mandates and all that stuff, that doesn't mean the war is over. They'll just come up with some other crisis to bring in
They're
their
sick
agenda.
fucking globalists. And that's the ultimate thing that you gotta understand, is that they're globalists. And maybe globalism could be good if it was benevolent, as in they want to do good things for us with our globalism, but it's not. They want to detach us from our homelands, and they want to hurt us, essentially.
Yeah, what's
this.
happening in the West right now is pretty much what they want to happen everywhere. They want a society where everyone works in the service sector to provide services to them, cleaning their feet, massaging them, working at hotels, working at restaurants for them, right? And then,
Decompartmentalize everybody so
yep,
that they will become that kind of slave that they
and
would
then
like,
they promote
like
the
a
degeneracy.
service provider for them.
Yep.
Them.
Yep. So they want us to be their slaves. They also want us to not have enough money and, stuff where we can actually get ahead and make our lives better. So they want us, like, living in these little condo, tiny apartment, high-rise apartments, these little fucking cubicle blocks, basically, is what they want us living in. They want us promoting, they promote degeneracy to our society to try to get us to engage in it. They don't want us reproducing. So they promote homosexuality. They tell people that should be having kids that they shouldn't have kids because of climate change, and it's going to be hard, and you're going to have to sacrifice so much and give up so much of your life. So they're, like, constantly attacking us in pretty much every way. And they just want us to be, worthless slaves to them. They don't want us to be innovators. They don't want us to be creating new technologies. They don't want people to be going from the poor or from the working class up to the upper class. They don't want that. They don't want that. I forget what the term is when you move up in classes. They don't want that. They want everyone to be kind of born and you're all shit, basically. And then there's them. They want, like, a 2-tier society, like an old feudal system, if you will. And what the last 150, 250 years of Western civilization has been is upward mobility. That was the term I was looking for. There's upward mobility, where if somebody puts in the efforts and they put in the time and they have a good idea, they can create a company, and then they can go from being a poor person to being a rich person by, the attributes that they, put forward, the content of their work, and their value to society. But they don't want that. They want them to be the ruling class and everyone else just working service sector jobs, barely making ends meet, living in a shitty commie block apartment, watching porn all fucking day, watching shitty Hollywood movies all day that just dumb them down and keep them in the same cycle of fucking, dependence, essentially, on the state.
That's 100% what I think is going on too. Yeah, they want to keep you dumbed down. What can you really do about it but rebel?
Yep. Read a book, white man.
Yeah, 100%. But how I feel like we're approaching kind of an ideological war where we need as many people as we can on our side.
Yeah.
So we need kind of like a big tent movement in order to bring people over to our side, so that when they start going too far, like they're trying to do right now with these Ottawa Freedom Convoy protests, whether it's in Alberta, Coots, whether it's on the Windsor-Detroit border, we've got to establish that we have the correct information and the correct moral authority about what is going on, right?
Yeah.
So we're in an informational war where we have to to win over as many people as we can for this. And we don't have to win them over 100%. And they don't have to understand that demographic change is going to destroy our society. They don't need to be on the furthest right of the opinions that some of us may have, right?
Yeah.
What we do need to have is them understanding that when the jackboot of this globalist system comes down upon us and things get really hairy, that they are not to snitch on their fellow neighbor for being based in red pilled. That the based in red pill neighbor is the guy who knew what was going on from the beginning. And part of that is that we need to have as many resources as we can that could save them potentially too from this disgusting system that wants to push everybody down. But they're also going to try to prop people up. Like the system is going to try to prop people up who snitch on us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who hate on us, who are against us. Though it's obvious that the moral good is on our side. But we have to snatch as many people as we can onto our side once shit gets accelerated, once the shit hits the fan. Because that's more resources for the truth. That's more resources for us trying to do what's right.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like it's tough, like with the whole COVID thing. I often get really annoyed with the normies who go along with it, or like the normies who go out and they complain only when it like affects them with their fucking gym or with their restaurant or whatever. And there's people that have lost their jobs, like the truckers, are losing their livelihoods potentially. And what does that mean when you lose your livelihood? You're talking about people that are going to lose their homes. They're going to lose their fucking ability to put food on the table for their families, and then you're going to deny them EI. And it bothers me that some people don't understand like how deep this is, and then they get upset over like, oh, I can't go to the gym because Doug Ford. And it's like, dude, do you understand what's fucking going on here right now? But then I also have to take a step back from my ego and kind of release my pride and be like, I need that person. If the gym is what makes them mad, I need that fucking person on my team. So I'm gonna like message them and be like, hey man, I'm with you. The gym shouldn't be closed. This is a bunch of bullshit. Plant those seeds. But one of the most important things with propaganda, and I don't mean propaganda in a negative term, but it is what it is. With propaganda, the most powerful propaganda is when you tell someone something in such a way that they come to the conclusion that you wanted them to come to on their own. You don't tell them the conclusion. You just provide enough evidence where they can come look at that evidence, and in their own mind, they come to the conclusion that you initially wanted, because now they feel like they came to that on their own and they don't feel like you told them that. So anytime, somebody, maybe they don't like you and you tell them something that's true, they might not listen to you because they don't like you. But if you plant the seed in a right way where now they came to that conclusion on their own, all of that kind of social shit goes away, and now they're on your side because they understand it. Because
I like what you're
of it
saying.
in their own brain.
Planting seeds, so you don't have to be the dick that just obliterates the guy on Facebook, because that's not going to be the way that it works. You're just going to piss people off. But you plant a seed, and usually that's done in a more inconspicuous way, where you just said, hey, well, what about this?
Yeah.
Right? And
it could be as simple as just
you're doing it in a kind of a calm way.
Yeah.
And you're doing it in a kind of calm, diplomatic way.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, obviously, you could just rip people apart and be that fucking alpha tough guy, but that's not the way things work when you're trying to play a game of chess.
Yeah, and the unfortunate reality of politics is you're trying to persuade people all the time. And this is something that if Tyler's still here, he'll know. Like, Tyler Russell is incredibly good at this. is like, it's not the optics game so much, it's the ability to talk about very serious issues in like a kind of a humorous sense and a very lighthearted way. Like if Tyler got into an argument with somebody, he wouldn't start yelling at them. He's very calm and rational. And when you present yourself like that, people are often a lot more receptive. And like somebody might come up to Tyler and they hadn't met him before. Hey, I read an anti-hate article about you. And then you meet the guy and it's like, he's a really nice guy. And all of a sudden in their mind, they're like confused because the character in their mind that they thought they were arguing with was this like, super aggressive, in your face kind of person. And then you talk to him, he's just really rational. And
Right.
he's going to hold his opinions. He's not going to compromise on his views, but he's also not going to like shit talk you to your face if he's trying to persuade you. And I think that's something Nick Fuentes too, like they do it really well, where like they know how to, in a humorous way, so often, say the things that they're trying to get out, but it's in a way that doesn't push away somebody who maybe doesn't agree. Like they can, it's a little bit more easy for them to understand and get on board with when it's, somebody who's rational, calm, and nice and, well-dressed, speaking to you, than some guy screaming in your face, you fucking piece of shit. You better believe what I'm telling you.
It's never good to just attack people.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree with all those optics arguments you've been saying. But I'm gonna play a song right now that we could all enjoy. But right after that, I want to get into like a hit piece that they've been running just as of today, where they put Canada First as their headline picture. But then it goes into all the other smears that they're doing. So this article, they're our enemies. They hate us. But they actually show exactly who they're trying to attack, which is very interesting. And we can
real quick, JL Pladsmith just popped in the chat, and I know he's down in Windsor. So he said, hey homies, just got home from the Windsor border lockdown. We are holding the line. Fucking base,
yeah,
man.
Yeah. Mr. Pladsmith, I know that he's a Windsor motherfucker, and that he is on the front lines of the Windsor Detroit border protest. So I'm looking forward to more updates about that protest from him. And they are holding the fucking line, apparently. That's fucking amazing.
This Detroit Windsor border one is actually huge because
it is
the biggest
big.
border in Canada, has the most crossings and the most goods that come across it. So what's going on there right now is actually really pissing off the elites. Like, it's one thing to annoy them in Ottawa, but this is messing with their bottom
I would
line.
totally be down to go down there and then film everything and try to piss them off more.
Yeah, man.
Pladsmith is saying, was there last night? We tripled since last night. That's fucking amazing. Shut down infrastructure. Yes, this is an occupation. This is a fucking insurrection. That's a joke. I don't know what an insurrection is. I'm just saying that we're shutting shit down. We're doing a legitimate protest in order to show these elites that you can't run this country without people who make things run, without the actual essential workers. Workers who don't want forced medical injections upon them. Is that so much to ask? You know that it's not scientifically proven. We know that all these mandates, they're only there to make vaccination rates go up. Didn't you watch something tonight?
Yeah.
Dr. Fact Check, something like the BC Premier admitted that the only reason they had vaccine passports was to make vaccination rates go up.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find that later. But basically, if I can paraphrase what he was saying, they asked if like a reporter said, Alberta and Saskatchewan are looking at removing all these mandates and stuff. What is your position in BC? And he replied that, well, the vaccine passport system has given people a reward for getting vaccinated and shown them the benefit of getting vaccinated by rewarding them. It was something like that, like showing them the benefit of being vaccinated by rewarding them for being
Yeah,
vaccinated.
you
And
want your
that in
fucking
itself,
cookie?
that tells you everything you need to know, though. It's not about health. They wanted you to get your vaccine, so hard that they're gonna be like, okay, if you get your vaccine, then look, I'll give you this card and you can go back to your normal life. It has nothing to do with the fact that the vaccine is going to supposedly help you. It's all about your normal life. Oh, you'll be able to go to a restaurant or a sports venue.
Right.
Ooh.
Right. You want to put that upon us? How about you don't get to live until we get our freedoms back? How about
Yo,
that,
I'll be right back as well.
motherfucking fucker? Okay, so we're gonna play this song, and then we'll both be back in a little bit, and then we'll get on to some other topics that are similar.
I ain't taking no vaccine, whoa. Yeah. Gang. No vaccine. Yeah, I ain't taking no vaccine. That's on the gang. I ain't taking no vaccine. I ain't taking no vaccine. Yeah. I ain't wearing no mask. I wasn't born in no cage. I ain't wearing no mask. You can't make me afraid. Wanna lock us down, yeah, they wanna treat us like slaves. Lord protect me from my soul. Yeah, no mask for you, they hit me with corona. Bury me a patriot, put that on my mama. I beat COVID, God knows I serve a purpose. Obama made us hate each other. Americans is they don't really love you. They just wanna drug you. Vaccines tested for less than a year. Put it in your body and then you disappear. Steady on that front line, soldiers dying every day. They just wanna make excuses, they don't wanna keep you safe. They just want your DNA, risk your life to duplicate. Welcome to America, welcome to Joe Biden's hell. Lock you up and put you in that cell for a long time. If you don't put that little needle in your bloodline. I done seen it all, I done seen the fake. Born in America, this the game they play. No vaccine. Yeah, I ain't taking no vaccine. Yeah, I ain't taking no vaccine. I ain't taking no vaccine. Yeah. I ain't wearing no mask. I wasn't born in no cage. I ain't wearing no mask. You can't make me afraid. Wanna lock us down? Yeah, they wanna treat us like slaves. Lord protect me from my soul. I ain't taking no vaccine. That's what our immune system for. And I threw the mask away 'cause I can't wear them anymore. Knock. Next is gonna be the government at your door. Let them know that I ain't going, and plus I'm ready for war. They want us to be slaves and control what we do. They say we gon' end up like China. I don't think that is true. I think we already like China. Look how the government do. Saying that we can't go outside, do it not feel like a zoo. You gon' need a vaccine card for whatever you do. You say it's COVID, but to me it all seems just like the flu. And it's all just to take down the red, white, and blue. They not taking none of my freedoms. I don't know about you. Look at the timing, the lies. It's all creating fear. From 2 weeks of slow to spread, ended up being a year. We thought that we was free, but I think now we seeing it clear. And people out here believing whatever they wanna hear. No vaccine. Yeah, I ain't taking no vaccine. Yeah, I ain't taking no vaccine. I ain't taking no vaccine. Yeah. I ain't wearing no mask, I wasn't born in no cage. I ain't wearing no mask, you can't make me afraid. Wanna lock us down, yeah, they wanna treat us like slaves. Lord protect me from my soul.
Let's fucking go, man. I fucking love that song. I love that song, especially because, hey, you gotta show that song to somebody who's on the edge. They know that they shouldn't do it, but they're being coerced into doing it. You show them that song, and you tell them, hey, we have your back. Don't worry, this will pass. You'll find a way out of this. You don't have to do what they're telling you to do. Well, you'll find a job in the future. Don't fucking worry about it. Just stay strong. And that kind of song could really help people understand what they're going through.
Yeah, I'm back.
Right. Yeah, so I was just going on about how powerful that song is. The song was like, I ain't taking no vaccine, but no, that's something you gotta send to somebody who's on the edge, where, you know, they might feel bad about their decision to take that, to not take it and lose their job. It's so crazy how many variations of losing your livelihood over fighting against this fucking bullshit that's going on. And that's why it's so amazing that these truckers are just sticking up for all our freedoms. Finally!
Yeah.
Finally, somebody is sticking up for our freedoms. So we need to be there. We need to help them, support them in whatever way. I will be in Ottawa soon. Again, I was in Ottawa. I was in Ottawa from January 29th, the Friday, to the Monday. And I have tons of footage. I will be making a documentary about all of this that's been going on. And I will be back there. I don't know exactly when, but probably in the next few days.
Really good comment came in on YouTube from Pear, I think, Pear H. He said, funny how Trudeau and the local politicians are complaining that the truckers are disturbing the locals. What the fuck has been going on for the last 2 years in all countries? And absolutely. So earlier today, I was listening to, I think it was CBC, and they were basically talking about, well, look at, people can't work right now because of what's going on. People's livelihoods are being affected by the trucker convoy. And it's like, people's livelihoods are being affected by the mandates, you stupid fucking pieces of shit. Like, do you not understand how ironic that is for you to be complaining about people's livelihoods being affected when you're fucking firing people who don't want to take a medical, you know, fucking injection? Like, bro, the ignorance of these people.
It is fucking insane how ignorant these people are. It's like there's a certain rhetorical point the normies have where it doesn't matter that you didn't want to take it for whatever reason. And as long as they could go and have a dinner, they'll think you're insane. They'll think you're insane because they can have the dinner and you can't because they got jabbed. That's the mind of, like, not a normal normie, but like a malicious normie. The malicious normie is what you gotta watch out for. They're that small fringe minority that you gotta watch out for because they empower the system. They're like that fucking retard that we the fucking handicapped retard that we were looking at earlier, right? These malcontents. So I want to share an article that has just been released today. Very funny. Okay. This is from Press Progress. This is one of, like, the Canadian smear campaign type websites. Are you there? Are you still with
sorry.
me?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. I was just trying to find that BC clip real quick, but yeah, I'm back.
All right. So this is what Press Progress released today. Meet the extremists and social media influencers at the center of the far-right siege of Ottawa.
The siege.
So they put our boy up here. This is, okay, I'm going to say, this is one of my good friends. This is a very nice man. Very good man. He's very young, too. I don't think that they should be putting his face out like this, considering how young he is. This is a very young man. That's not very nice that they're trying to like put him as the face of all fascism, especially considering that he's just wants what's best for his country. But that's a fight that we're trying to put out to everybody. And I would say the fact that his face is on the front of this is just a fucking bonus for him. That's fucking awesome. But anyways, this whole article is saying, who is really behind the far-right occupation of Canada's national capital? Ottawa is under siege. But who is really behind this occupation? So they're trying to figure out who is behind, the convoy and everything. And basically, the whole consensus of the mainstream media, for despite all the silly things they're trying to do by saying like, oh, you vandalized the Terry Fox statue, or there was a swastika flag, or there was a what is it, the Confederate flag. Oh no, these all happened once out of hundreds of thousands of people that came here with normal flags and everything. They try to push the narrative to be like, look who is organizing these protests, or who has a lot of power behind the influence of these protests in some way. And then they try to smear all the people involved. But it's so pathetic. It's so fucking pathetic when you see what information they have on people, and this is what you're trying to do to smear these protests. No wonder normies aren't catching on, because it's so fucking pathetic what you're trying to fucking do. So the extremists, these are the extremists. The Freedom Convoy was originally organized by a group called Canada Unity, which was founded by a man named James Baudour. Baudour is linked to a far-right yellow vest group and has harassed picketing oil refinery workers. Are we supposed to be up in arms over that? I don't get it. Baudour is an author of the convoy's Memorandum of Understanding that calls for overthrowing Canada's democratic government and replacing it with an unelected junta consisting of convoy leaders, the Senate, and the Governor General. Other top organizers include Benjamin Dichter, BJ Dichter, who is our enemy. This guy fucking hates us because we're... Throughout the last few years, we have promoted people like Ryan Dawson, E. Michael Jones, like within the Plaid Army and Canada First and all these people. And they hate us because this Benjamin Dichter guy doesn't like us, because we have been promoting these people that he thinks are non-kosher. Now, I don't think Benjamin Dichter is bad because he is kosher. It's just, why is he trying to ice everybody else out of the party? And why is he pretending like he's a fucking trucker to Tucker Carlson when he goes and talks to Tucker Carlson on his show, and he's pretending like he's a fucking trucker? What the fuck?
Yeah, this Benjamin Dichter guy. So I watched the first press conference that the convoy organizers did, and he pretty much talked the entire time, and he wasn't even one of the original organizers. He just like kind of snaked his way in there, and the way that he talks, I could tell that he was like he's got some ulterior motives and some other agenda that he's looking to serve with this. And to me, it kind of seems like he's trying to push the convoy towards the Conservative Party as like their solution instead of people like Maxime Bernier and the PPC, because
we already know that he's against Maxime Bernier and he's against like the Randy Hillier types, because Randy Hillier and those guys, they don't trust this guy. Are you fucking kidding me? Man, this guy is trying to create division. And also, exactly like you said, he is trying to get Aaron O'Toole involved. He was trying to make meetings with Aaron O'Toole, and he was trying to say that Maxime Bernier and Randy Hillier shouldn't be involved because he's trying to make his own decisions with those people, with Aaron O'Toole and the Conservative Party. That's kind of fucked. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Are you trying to do something that is against the interest of the people for your own political benefit? For the Conservative Party? Are you kidding me? The Conservative Party, who's fucked over everybody right from the beginning? The PBC has at least had people's best interest in mind and been against the Vax passport throughout this whole time.
Yeah, the PPC's been the only party against any of this shit. The lockdowns, the mandates for vaccination, the masking of everyone, and being forced to wear masks. Like, if people want to wear masks, fine, go ahead and wear a mask, but you shouldn't be required to wear a mask to buy your fucking groceries. You shouldn't be required to wear a mask when you're a kid in school. Like, it's fucked
100%.
up.
So I'm gonna say BJ Dichter. He's trying to pull some shit. He does not have the best interest in mind of the people who, want to see this all gone. It seems like more of a political interest involving the Conservative Party. And I think it's a power move, especially considering when he went on Tucker Carlson and pretended like he was a trucker. That's fucked. Because he's not. He's been a political operative since before 2019. And people that I've been involved with know exactly what he's about. He was icing people out in our movement because they talked to people he didn't like. So that's a political operative if I've ever seen one. So fuck BJ Dichter. And then they're dissing Pat King. And I have my own opinions about Pat King. I think his content fucking sucks. But I don't know. What was he saying?
Someone's gonna make you catch a bullet one day. To the rest of this government, someone's gonna fucking do yous in. You sons of bitches.
The only way that, and I'm gonna say it out loud, the only way that this is gonna be solved is with bullets.
Okay.
The only way that
Based Pat King. Let's see what Based Pat King has to say. This is gonna be really funny.
Trudeau, someone's gonna make you catch a bullet one day. To the rest of this government, someone's gonna fucking do yous in. You sons of bitches.
Someone's gonna do yous in, you sons of bitches. Okay, I fucking like that already.
The only way that, and I'm gonna say it out loud, the only way that this is gonna be solved is with bullets. And yeah, I said it. That's the only way something's gonna happen. A massive revolution on a huge scale. You might want to change your name to Ishmael, or drop a bunch of change down the stairs and call yourself Chong Ching Ching Chang.
No, he's trying some comedy. He's trying racist comedy. Come on. It's all right. It's not that bad.
Now you want to say, oh, the Indians' culture and everything. The natives' culture is a disgrace. It is 100%.
Every person who was born here in Canada, in North America, you are Indigenous.
People don't realize that. If you were born of the land, you are indigenous of the land.
That's a pretty loving statement I've ever heard. That's a good That is the best statement I've ever heard Pat King say. I don't know why they're trying to say that. That's bad.
It's called depopulation of the Caucasian race, or the Anglo-Saxon. And that's what the goal is to depopulate the Anglo-Saxon race. Because they are the ones with the strongest bloodlines. They are the ones with the strongest bloodlines. They are the ones with the strongest bloodlines. And we'll leave.
Well, he said it 3 times in a row, obviously, right? So that's got some pretty good weight to it.
Leave it at that, because then we get into a whole different topic. But now this year alone, I think I'm gonna have a big gathering at my house just for that, and I'm gonna film it. Yeah, right. Cops will get shot.
What? Oh, the leftists are not sending their best clippers. You know,
Yeah.
I don't like Pat King because I think he's kind of a douchebag, and I think he just makes things all about himself. But those clips made me like him so much more than I should like him. So I don't know what the point of that was, because I like him more now.
He's just like, he's very standard of unfortunately he's a standard of the right-wing movements that we've seen in especially Canada.
Well, he's crushing it, man.
Well, like,
now.
no, what he says,
check out
his
Facebook. It's
for sure. No, he's
huge.
very popular for sure. But my point is that he's not very articulate. So his mind is in the right place. Like, I think he's trying to say something that he just doesn't have the words to describe without sounding like that. You know what I mean? Like, he's not very optical in what he says, and he doesn't know how to come to the right words.
But he still comes to it because he just does it over and over again.
Yeah, well, and like, you know, the stuff where he's talking about
just
cops.
becomes popular because he does it over and over again.
Well, like, yeah, he's
right.
definitely fed posting a lot, you know, which, like, anyone of us knows that you don't just go out there and say shit like that. But at the same time, like, he's probably, you know, aligned with somebody like me, like, on a lot of issues. I just think that he's a little crass in his delivery. And so they just jump on a guy like that because they can be like, look at this racist guy. And then, you know, people like that went to university for gender studies will be like, oh my God, it's so horrible. Look at how stupid and dumb and racist he is. And they just like you know, but like in reality, like, there's a way of saying everything that he's saying without sounding like an idiot. Which is their biggest fear,
right?
Which is why I think they come after people like Canada First, is because Tyler Russell is able to talk about Canadian nationalism without sounding like a fucking retard, and that scares the ever-loving shit out of them, because if he gets a little bit more popular, he is just going to spiral into a huge piece, you know, of the Canadian
because as soon as you say something like this isn't going to be solved with bullets or something, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're like Rage, where you're like, to be honest, Rage is on the next level of that. Raging Dissident could say whatever he wants because he's that level of fucking charisma. Yeah. Pat King is not that charismatic.
Well, and Rage 2, he's smart enough where he toes the line, just like he dances on it a lot, but he doesn't go and like overtly fed post. He just talks more in like, you know, like he talks about what is going to happen to these people if they keep pushing people, which is true. Like, that's right. Just true.
Well, they'll always try to say that, oh, he predicted that there's going to be a race war. Yeah. So what? He predicted there's going to be a race war. So why are you trying to start the race war, media? So it always, you know, it has that kind of repercussions of what he's saying. So, yeah. So if you go and look at this article furthermore, it says, one of the most visible political figures during the siege has been Randy Hillier, an independent Ontario MPP who was kicked out of Doug Ford's party a few years ago. Hillier is getting to run under his newly created Ontario First Party in the spring's election. of the weekend. While standing on the steps of Parliament Hill, Hillier delivered a dangerous speech that likened the convoy struggle to that of Canadian soldiers fighting at Vimy Ridge. He then told his supporters, "This is the hill that we die on." And this
Base.
soy boy fucking faggot is like, "This is very dangerous rhetoric." Listen to the very dangerous rhetoric.
Have you ever heard that excuse? Is that the hill you want to die on? Anybody ever hear that?
The honking.
Politics all time. You don't want to die on that hill. But I'm telling everybody, and I'm telling that coward in the college, this is the hill we die on.
That's very dangerous rhetoric. You gotta be scared of that kind of rhetoric. It's so dangerous. Hey, this is the hill we die on. That makes us the aggressor? You fucking retards. You fucking...
Well, it's like
You
they
guys
don't
are
even
fucked
understand what
up.
that means. Like
You
it's an old
fucked
saying.
up.
It's like this isn't the hill to die on is a saying that means like this isn't the battle worth fighting, basically. But when you say this is the hill to die on, you're not saying like we're literally gonna die on the hill. We're saying that like this is our last stand. This is where we draw the line. This is where we say no more. You know, it's a political. It's like a saying. Like I don't know. These people that are writing these articles are just retarded.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, we're nearing the end of the stream time, the 2 hours, but I want to drop the Plaid Army in Canada first part of this Smear article because it's so funny. So it says, elements even further to the extreme far right. We're even further to the extreme far right. Even further to the extreme far right. Okay. Extreme. We're extreme sports. We're just going up and down the half pipe of extremism.
Wait, that means we're the cool guys.
We're
Extreme sports is like
radical,
skateboarding.
man. Yo, Tony Hawk. I just did a 900 of extremism, bro.
We're doing 900s around these leftists in their lodge.
Yeah, 900s around these leftists and just landing it. It's so fucking radical, bro. Holy shit, man. All right, so what does it say here? It says several members of the they always say so-called. What do you mean? So what does so-called mean other than just something being very nasty, like a nasty way to describe us? The so-called the so-called Freedom Convoy. Man, suck my fucking nuts and my asshole, okay, please? Several members of the so-called Plaid Army, a neo-fascist group. I didn't even know that. I don't even know what a neo-fascist group means, okay?
Yeah, me neither.
I'm not, like, okay, I'll click onto it. I'm not gonna describe it now, but... Okay, so it just went... When I clicked on that link, it went to another anti-hate article about how Alex is a Holocaust denier or something. Whatever. It's fucking bullshit. So it says, several members of the so-called Plaid Army, a neo-fascist group that wishes to stage a violent revolution to establish a new Diagolon country, joining the Canadian West with parts of the United States, have been spotted at the center of the chaos in downtown Ottawa. Wow. I can't even believe they just said that. Like, literally, Diagolon is a fucking meme. It's a joke. Yeah, it would be funny if you had a diagonal line with some girth to it that took all the best of the states and put them down a diagonal line and made it like a red versus blue succession thing. But you're saying that we're actually trying to establish this. There's absolutely no proof whatsoever that anybody is trying to establish a fucking meme. You're trying to say that we're trying to violently establish an insane meme of a diagonal country going from one side of North America to the other? Are you fucking insane? Is this not liable? I mean, this is so stupid that I wouldn't even charge you for libel or even think of it because it's so dumb. And that you people must be so dumb, so pathetically impotent that you would even write a sentence like that. Okay, well, you've given us a lot more power than we have, so I'll take that. You know what? Fucking diagonal on now. Let's fucking go, man. Yeah, let's split the country. Let's split all of North America in that way. And fuck these fucking press progress faggots. We'll do it. We'll do it. Thank you. Thank you for co-signing this. Thank you. 4 members of a group called Canada First were filmed at Ottawa City Hall this weekend harassing Ottawa residents. So 4 members of Canada First. Tyler Russell, the group's leader. Oh, they actually fixed the spelling of his name. Because an hour or two ago, they spelled his name wrong. I noticed that, but that they did. So they fixed it. That's good. At least they're concerned for some details. But it says, Tyler Russell, the group's leader, was spotted with a man who was criminally charged with assaulting Prime Minister Justin Trudeau with a weapon at a campaign stop during the last federal election. You know, they could have at least explained what actually happened, which is some guy tossed pebbles, allegedly, at Justin Trudeau. So, yeah. That's so scary, man. That's so fucking scary.
Yeah, like assault with a weapon, like as if he like ran up with like a baton and started beating Trudeau into the ground. No context. So like assault with a weapon, that's what people think, you know.
Well,
like,
they
their
have to
mind is
make
really-
things sound as homosexual as possible. And you know, it's press progress. So they're literally fucking gay faggots. And they probably take penises in their assholes. So I don't know what you're expecting from these fucking Fruit Loops. But it goes on to say, on Sunday, Russell was spotted in the red Canada First hat, yelling at police during a raid on the protesters' illegal command base established at Ottawa's own baseball stadium.
Look at all those goons, man.
Yeah, fucking pigs. Fuck you, pigs. So, okay. So, I think we're near the end of this live stream. And we just went and looked at the hit piece against, you know, all the people who were involved in this convoy. It's pretty pathetic. It's like, oh, this guy once said something about this and this and this, and these guys showed up too, and it's very concerning. Oh my god. It's like, dude, people are losing their fucking jobs.
Yeah.
They say, oh, what about the 90% of truckers that are still working and doing what? Okay, well, 10% of truckers have lost their fucking jobs because they can't go outside of this country to do their job. Hundreds of thousands of people have lost their jobs because they won't take a forced medical injection. Millions of people have lost jobs because of these lockdowns based on fucking lies that we as freedom fighters are some of the only people who are willing to stand up for these people, we get
Yeah.
shit on because the mainstream media has weaponized people to attack us for telling the truth.
I
don't know,
did
man.
manage to find that BC clip. If you do want to really quickly show it, if not, it's okay. But I just threw it in the YouTube chat,
Okay.
and I have it timestamped, so it should open up right to when it is.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm seeing a couple comments in the YouTube chat from Plaidsmith saying he's gonna be in Ottawa on Friday night, so it'll be good to see you there, buddy. If I can get up there, I'll let you know. Okay, I'll let you know soon.
It's like a few comments under that. If you scroll down a little bit, there should be a YouTube link from Doug.
No, I don't see anything.
All right, never mind. I'll clip that though, and I'll send it to you. Maybe you can put it out on Telegram. It's just so funny to hear him say, like we need to show people that their sacrifice had benefits, and it's like, so the benefit wasn't protecting yourself; it was to go to a restaurant. Like, bro,
Right? It's absolutely fucked, man. So I'm gonna lead everybody out with a song tonight. It's called Hate Speech by Bryson Gray. And please smash that thumbs up if you like this live stream. Do whatever, man. And if you're going to Ottawa this weekend, connect with me. Send me a message on Edgy.D33 for Instagram. Edgy D on Instagram. You could probably find me on Instagram if you want to link up with me. So do whatever, man. Telegram too. You can hit me up on Telegram.
Somebody gotta do it. Hey, hey. They say I'm that MAGA rapper, ain't no capper, Bible thumping every chapter. Bought a MAGA chain and bought a AR for the chain snatchers, offending everybody, ay, like it was my hobby. And they hate me cause I drive them crazy, call me Ricky Bobby. There ain't no such thing as trans, you can't change genders. Are you crazy? You can cut your penis off, but you still can't have no baby. You can take testosterone pills, but you still can't produce semen. Welcome to gender studies class that y'all are taking for no reason. Send y'all kids to college just for them to be indoctrinated. Then they come out that way green hair. Them degrees are overrated. Look, I'm just being real. Regardless of how you feel, homeschool your kids. Make sure they read their Bibles and you teach them skills. Wait, universal healthcare, well, there's a reason to riot. Why should I pay taxes for people that ain't changing their diet? Obesity, the biggest killer, but that topic they're quiet. But wanna force me to wear a mask because the Chinese virus. Wait, mask off. Screw it, mask off. Y'all men grew up without father figures, and that's why you soft. Y'all worship your skin instead of God, and that's why you lost. But let me guess, you wanna be oppressed, but tell me at what cost instead of being civilized. We think it's cool to be ratchet. Women wanna be someone else. That's why their body is plastic. 20 pounds of makeup, fake lashes, fake hair, and fake nails. Just to impress all of these people that's probably fake as well. Be yourself. The problem is too many people lack confidence. Hey, the problem is too many people lack common sense. Hey, the problem is too many people scared to say the truth. Hey, the problem is that's why there's trouble in our youth. Hey, y'all think it's cool to take drugs, it's popular to be depressed, so people have pity parties, disguise it as mental health, then go to a therapist instead of handling it themselves. Then they end up hooked on pills, and so is everyone else.
Bryson, that's hate speech.
They say I'm that MAGA rapper, ain't no capper, Bible thumping every chapter. Bought a MAGA chain and bought a AR for the chain snatchers, offending everybody, ay, like it was my hobby. And they hate me cause I drive them crazy.